Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody this morning?
Did you watch the live last night?
What did you think about it? Did you enjoy? Did you get some insights?
What do you think to implement in your life?
We have a lot. Okay. Are they coming?
Yeah. You cannot hear the noise on the stairs.
So, Mela, what you wanted to say?
Honestly, I'm not prepared.
Yeah, we are still a bit sleepy, you know. For us, it was late and baby was not really sleeping last night. So, yeah.
I'm still in my thoughts about the live last night. What Peter say. And by the way, if there are Bulgarians watching, and if there are Bulgarians who want to buy the book of Peter Sage, because in the end I realized we spoke with him after, and there is a book in Bulgarian language published in Bulgarian, and also it's going to be his seminar there. I think 3rd and 4th of October, something like this. If you want to go, just let me know. So talk with the organizer in case to get discount. Even if we get 10% discount, okay, 10% we have so far. But even if we get 10%, it's money for dinner after to celebrate. So please let me know if some of you want to go. I'm going for sure. Stavriana most probably depend on her calendar also. So
yeah, it would be great to go like a group, no?
Yes. Me and my wife will go straight away without any question. But we have a 2 and a 6 months problem with us, which we cannot take her with. So far she will miss. She will go the next one and stuff like this.
You got to go.
I need to go. It's my guy.
Okay, so let's not wait and just introduce.
Yes, my love. Let's bring our lovely guest from the lovely place called Lebanon.
Good morning. Wait a minute, we cannot hear you.
Yes, make us small, my love.
Yes. Now we can hear you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everyone doing today?
We are great. A little bit sleepy, but we're great.
Awesome. Shall we?
Yes, go on. Let's go on.
Okay, awesome. So we're gonna pick off where we left off last week. Last week we were briefly talking about curtains that stand in the way between ourselves and our highest potential, or ourselves and our authentic self. Curtains such as limiting beliefs we acquire along the way from our societies, from our families, ideologies that don't really serve us. The curtains can be negative words that we speak that create negative actions as well. And curtains can be attachments. And what are attachments, babe?
So one of the reasons that we start having those curtains is that when we are born and as we grow up, we tend to form different types of attachments, and this is very well known in psychology. So what happens is that there's a very famous experiment by Dr. Ainsworth, where she puts a mother and a child in a room, and here you have different scenarios. So in one scenario, you have the mother who's warm and affectionate, and so when she leaves, there's a certain scenario happening. If the mother is actually sometimes warm, sometimes distant, so this also creates another scenario. And there's a third scenario when the mother is actually a bit distant. So what happens is that it creates a third scenario. And so those scenarios are as follows. So when the mother is warm and she leaves the room, what happens is that the child is secure. So he builds a secure attachment with his mother, and hence with his partner later on in life. And so as she leaves, he will start maybe to panic or something, but as soon as she comes back, he will be happy and warm again and start laughing and be happy. For the child where the mom was more like sometimes hot, sometimes cold, or sometimes warm, sometimes distant, the child became anxious. So he developed anxious attachment style. And in that case, so when the mom left, he started panicking. He or she, by the way, it's both man and woman, boys and girls, started panicking. And when the mother came back, the child directly jumped to the mother's neck and was like trying to hold on to her. And the third scenario is basically when the mother was actually cold and distant for some reason, not necessarily on purpose, but maybe this is how the child actually perceived it. Exactly. So what happened is that while he didn't show any emotions whatsoever when the mother left and when she came back, the study also showed that the heart rate level of all three children were the same. So while the avoidant, and this is actually the avoidant personality attachment style, and this avoidant personality style, what happens is that while he or she didn't show any emotion while the mom left or when she came back, he felt the same amount, the same intensity of the emotions as the other two children. What does this show us? So as we grow up, we develop those types of attachment, or those curtains, as we call them. So we come from a place of unconditional love, from a place of abundance, and we have no barriers, we have no boundaries, we have no, like, everything is beautiful and everything is abundant. Mm-hmm. But then one of the curtains is those attachment types. And as they start falling into us, we start behaving in different lifestyle and different aspects in different ways. And so the child who is actually secure develops a healthy attachment style. Whereas the avoidant and anxious personality types, they actually develop unhealthy attachment styles. So what does it mean to us? So for those of us who are avoidant, for those of us who actually have trust issues, so if we are not actually able to trust our partner very much fully, or if we are not able to trust in a very deep meaning, not just trust, oh, I trust you're not going to cheat on me. It goes much deeper than that. For example, bad boys that tend to not to be able to commit, for example, a sign of not able to commit is a sign of someone being more of an avoidant person, because they tend to
pull back.
When things start to get very close and intimate and attachment starts to be created, they back off. And this is not just for bad boys, it can be for bad girls and other people. So this is what happens when we have an avoidant personality. We have very difficult relationships because we tend to, like, it doesn't mean we don't want to be in a relationship. We do want to be in a relationship, but at the same time, it's difficult for us to trust. So there's something to be worked on at the subconscious level. Same thing with someone who's anxious. So someone who has an anxious personality will be very needy. They will want to cling to their partner and really try to please them, those people pleasers. By the way, I was one of them. So the beauty of that is that no matter what your attachment style is, whether if it's secure, then it's amazing. If you are an avoidant or anxious, thank you, or an anxious person, then you can actually work on that, and you can heal yourself, and you can move forward and become more secure and whole and complete and all those stuff. So what was I saying? Yeah. So secure anxious people tend to be needy, and so one of the worst type of relationships is between someone who's secure and someone who's needy.
It just doesn't work.
Exactly. And the third type is actually the secure type. So someone who's actually secure knows how to balance. They're more complete from within. They are not very needy. They are not very avoidant. So they trust. They do trust, and they do rely on their partner, but they're not fully oh, I want you. Please stay by my side. No. What are you doing? Okay. So they're more relaxed. They're more okay, I know you're there for me, and I'm here for you. So. Yeah.
They're the interdependent type and not the codependent type.
Exactly.
It means that each exists on their own. Like the sun and the moon, you know, the sun doesn't rely on the moon to rise, and the moon doesn't rely on the sun to set, but together they make the universe work. They make the universe function. So this is the secure attachment in a relationship. Like each one can stand on their own, but together they make things work. Together they're stronger and more functional. Right?
Yeah.
Moving on.
Okay, so
Want to talk about attachment and comfort?
go ahead.
Okay. So the thing about attachments and people is that, like George was saying, they start in our childhood, and it takes a certain level of self-realization to know that it all started somewhere. It all started from childhood, and it's not your fault, and it's not the way you are. And attachments can be very, very different. If you did the exercise last week that was posted on the group, we asked you to reflect a little bit on the attachments that you might have. We listed a few examples, such as people, such as habits, and beliefs. And the truth is, when it comes to goal setting, and when it comes to relationships in general, sometimes we feel or we think that we want this and that. But what happens is that sometimes our desire to get something is weaker than our desire to stay in the comfort zone. What does that mean? We can be easily attached to our comfort zone without even knowing it. And this is where whenever we have a goal, it gets easily affected. Meaning, we're going to talk about three main types of attachment that might sabotage your goals and sabotage your relationships, okay? We have fear. Stavriana talked yesterday about fear, right? You want to go over that a little bit? Just a small recap.
Okay, so basically she was mentioning a beautiful example that I really loved about the pizza. I'm already hungry. So the pizza example basically was very beautiful because Sabrina was saying that it's like ordering a pizza. And when we order the pizza, we actually have faith and we trust that the pizza is going to arrive when we order it. But when it comes to actually something that is beyond that, something that we're actually we really want to, we tend to have sometimes fears come in because we don't really trust the process. So because we tend to rely on this 5 senses, I was going to say 6, so we tend to rely on our 5 senses, and we want to see things, we want to touch things, we want to taste things. We tend to be like, okay, so I know I'm going to have my pizza because it's something I can't see, I've already had in the past. But if it's something that's, for example,
I know the steps to get it.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. And so so she went on saying that, giving the example of God or the light, when actually someone actually jumps and have really trust in the light, in God, in the universe, to actually receive and be able to receive what you want. Mm-hmm. And this is fear. And she said something very powerful, Sabriana, yesterday. Both fear and faith are both rely on the unseen. So it's all a matter of your choice.
Exactly. They both require you to believe in something you cannot see, to believe in the power you cannot tangibly see or feel in front of you. So you either have blind faith or blind fear. Mm-hmm. The wolf you feed, the one who wins.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, so fear often stands in the way of our relationships or our goals. Sometimes the fear of being brokenhearted, or the fear of being cheated on, or the fear of someone not being up to your standards and breaking your trust, this fear can be stronger than our desire to actually be in a relationship. So we always have to measure our desire against our attachments. So attachment number 1 is fear. And fear can cripple us. What is the opposite of fear? Certainty. Peter Sage was speaking about that yesterday. If we have certainty that the universe or universal laws function a certain way, we know that things will work out for us. And if you plant the right seeds, if you water the right seeds, if you do the work that you know needs to be done, you know the outcome, and you're certain that it's going to work in your favor.
I'm just going to remind you of something we talked about last week. So remember, we started the talk with asking you to close your eyes and go into the feeling of being enough. And I hope that if you did it, you would have realized that you are enough and you already have it within you. So since you already have it within you, why fear? Fear of what? You are already whole and complete from within. All what you need to do is remove those layers, exactly, and rediscover yourself. Rediscover the most amazing person that you are.
Yes.
There's no need to fear anything, because as long as you trust the universe, God, the laws, the light, whoever you believe in the end, they are with you. They are with every one of us. We are all one. It's all about unity and love, and everything is going to work out in the end.
Yeah. And the thing about trust is that it applies to all areas simultaneously. Like if you trust the universe, if you trust the creator, if you trust God, whichever terminology you resonate with, you automatically trust that every situation and every person that you come across is actually in your favor, you know? So it's for your highest good and for the highest good of absolutely everyone and everything. And the another thing I want to mention about fear, actually, before we move on to the second point, is that doing something when you feel fear doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to snap your fingers and the fear is going to disappear, you know? It's about taking baby steps and feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
I love
Who
it.
says that? Feel the
Susan
fear.
Jeffers.
Okay, feel the fear and do it anyway. Nike, just do it. Or just.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why it's so easy? Because both of them, they don't exist, the fear and faith. Why it's so easy to believe in fear than in faith?
I know. Because fear allows you to stay in the comfort zone. Fear is going to bring us to the second point, which is justifications that we tell ourselves. For example, I am not smart enough. I am not intuitive enough. I don't have the right education. I am not pretty enough. I am not tall enough. I can go on forever. It's those justifications that we tell ourselves, and they are rooted by fear. And it's much easier for me, for my ego, to say, you know what, I'm not good enough to do that. I'm not even going to try. And then to actually go like, you know what, I might fail, and this might hurt my ego, but let me do it anyway. This is why it's much easier to succumb to fear than it is to faith. Especially if you've been programmed to feel fear of failure, fear of judgment, whatever it is, your whole life. So it's difficult to actually peel those layers bit by bit, and it takes time. Yesterday, Peter was speaking about consistency, 100% consistency. Whenever you have the fear of anything, and whenever you start noticing the justifications that you tell yourself, here's where you go like, okay, I feel this fear, and I know that I give myself this excuse, but I'm going to do it anyway. So you have to catch yourself on the excuses that you give yourself. And George loves patterns. It's very easy to spot patterns, like something you say often. You know, I don't have the right education to do this. I don't have the right education to do this. I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I don't have the time. So you begin living in this reality, and it's your own perception, and your fear manifests your reality, right? So you just believe that you don't have the time to do anything. And what do you end up doing? Nothing. Because why? You don't have the time, right?
Thank you. Yes, and it's actually basically like Sariana has been saying, or Peter Sage has been saying, we are limited by our self-image. Mm-hmm. So because we are limited by our self-image, we cannot go beyond it. And our self-image, it was created when we were younger. Remember the exercise, for example, that we talked about earlier in the call today, about the child with the mother? So this is what happened. The child, all three children were first born the same, quote unquote, depending on, we're not going to go into karma and all that, but in general, like they are born with the same open-mindedness, and they don't have any negative feelings around things. But because situations and curtain happen to us, because like one of my mentors, and Sariana knows about it, Bob Proctor says, there are two ways of changing, either by repetition or by emotional shock. And so what happens when we are younger is, at a certain point, we have emotional shocks. It doesn't have to be like traumas or anything. It can be very small to very big. The example we gave about the child and the mother, it can be a small example that doesn't really, we think it's not very like
important, you know?
Important, but in the end, it does affect us, and it does affect our self-image for years.
Yeah, it builds the foundation, actually.
Exactly. So this is why it's important to actually go back and really heal that part.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Did you answer the question, Krasimir, by the way?
Yes, we have many other interesting questions. I'm not going to disturb you anymore.
No, that's okay. We just want to speak about the exercise that you guys were given yesterday on attachments. So once you identify the things you are attached to, mainly it's either people or beliefs or material things, you know, it should be easier for you to realize that you should be able to let them go. Because nothing in life, nothing, not even your own partner, nothing is nothing is really yours, right? I don't own George. I don't really own anything. Think about it. You can lose, knock on wood, you can lose anything or anyone at any given time. So you don't really own anything. And when you come from a place of attachment, you don't really see clearly, you know? Like, I want you, but I need my own space. No, I want you, but I gotta travel. No. You know, so we start to sabotage our relationship and the relationship of others. We start to sabotage our goals when we are attached to something. And in one of the talks, author was speaking about how sometimes our goals can be contradicting, and it's important to know the reason why we desire something and to make sure that what we desire, all our desires, are in line and not just contradicting. And attachments are one of the things that get in the way, you know? For example, you always have to measure your attachments against your desires, all right? My desire to express myself and speak up has to be stronger than my attachment to the fear of judgment. Only then will you be able to take baby steps, go against the fear, and get a little bit closer to your goal. Again, it's all about consistency, and it's all about baby steps, and it's all about identifying the attachments, identifying the fears, feeling it, and doing it anyways, right? My desire to be a fit, healthy person has to be stronger than my attachment to nicotine, let's say.
I can give you an example that many of you might relate if you've been in Toastmasters, which I believe some of you have.
Many, yeah.
Yeah. I was very, very shy. So I had this belief that I was very, very, very shy. And it took me 6 months to actually decide on going to Toastmasters. I was that shy, just going there. But when I went there, it took me like the first time I did my speech, actually, I had it written down on a paper, and all what I did was I came on stage and I read the script. This is all what I did. And everybody clapped and it was all amazing and all that. It's literally like Pat is saying, it's about doing it. It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And it's about doing it one step at a time. So it's not about looking at the end goal. So it's important to dance between looking at your end goal and the next step. So whenever you're stuck with the next step, just dream, go to the future.
Perfect. Do you mind if I interrupt? Before I forget, because sometimes, unfortunately, generally speaking, we're a society that's very goal-oriented. We focus so much on goals and then we settle, okay? And we forget to dream. We forget about the bigger picture. Just gets lost somewhere. We forget about our potential. I want to get married. Done. Okay. I want to have kids. Done. I want to have a career. Done. I want to weigh this much. Done. We reach our target goal and then we succumb, unfortunately, it's the human nature, into the comfort zone without even knowing that we have much more potential to keep on going, to keep on pushing. What's next? What's the next step? What can I do after that, right? How can I help someone else get there? It's always about expanding, and not, oh, okay, check, ding, what's next? And our goals actually shift a lot as we grow and as we evolve. So, I mean, I don't think any of you guys had the same goal 10 years ago like you do now, right? And in 10 years' time, I don't think you're going to have the same goal. And I don't think you should have the same goal. It's all about constant change and transformation.
And there's one thing one of our mentors tells us, that the reason why we set goals is actually not to reach the goals, but to become the goals. We set the goals for our growth to become who we become. It's not to reach the end destination. Remember, I'm not sure if, for some of you who were on the previous morning community, we talked about fixed mindset and growth mindset. So those that are in a fixed mindset, what they tend to do is only look at the goal. So I want to achieve that goal. Whereas those who have a growth mindset are more into it for the journey, not the destination. And this is actually where the magic happens. This is where the beauty happens.
There's a quote by a well-known author and teacher, Monica Berg, that says, "The purpose of life is the process of life." There's no end goal. You just keep on growing and flowing and expanding and trying to make the best out of it, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. So,
do we have time for an exercise, or shall we dive into questions, or how do you want us to continue?
We have all the time in the world.
Okay.
Okay, so before we dive into the exercise, we're just going to recap real quick. Always make sure that your desire to reach your goal is stronger than your desire to stay in the comfort zone, and is stronger than your attachment, whatever the attachment might be. Attachment can be fear, a limiting belief, I am not good. These are all attachments, but we don't see them as attachments because they became a part of ourselves, so to speak. And when it comes to goal setting and manifesting something you want, you're always going to be asked to make a decision. So your priorities will be tested. Is my fear stronger than my desire? This is a priority. Is my priority to remain comfortable where I am without the fear of being judged, without the fear of failure, stronger than my desire to reach my goal, whatever my goal might be? So we're going to leave you with that. We're here for any questions. And we hope you did last week's exercise on attachments. And in case you didn't, now's your chance. And we're going to walk you through this week's exercise. We hope you have a pen and paper.
We might need around 10 minutes. So if it's too much, then we'll send it to you for later on. We just want to clarify things a little bit.
What do you guys think, Clem and Kras?
We have some question also, so I don't know if you want us to post it or
No, I prefer here. No.
Okay.
The exercise here?
The exercise or the question?
The question.
The questions.
Yes, the question.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay, so we'll send you the exercise later on. So for the questions, we have one question.
Yeah, we have two questions actually. We have Victoria who was asking, can you please share with us a few tips on this? In my observation, often when one enters a new relationship or has been in a relationship for too long, start to losing himself and become one with the partner, meaning to neglect his own priorities and authenticity.
Okay, thank you. It's a beautiful question. So what happens when we enter a relationship? I'm going to talk from a man-woman perspective mainly. So when a man and a woman enters a relationship, what happens from a biological perspective, I'm going to talk about. Let's say that the man is masculine and the woman is feminine when they start the relationship. It doesn't have to always be the case, but just for this example, I'm going to go through that. So the man entering the relationship as a masculine energy and the woman as a feminine energy, the man starts to release testosterone. So both man and woman have both testosterone and estrogen. But testosterone is more linked to masculine energy. So the man being more masculine in this case has more testosterone. And as the relationship starts, the man starts to release testosterone to the woman. And vice versa. So the woman starts releasing and sending estrogen to the man. And so, while at first there's a very high testosterone and a very high estrogen from the man and the woman, there will be at some point in the relationship a shift in polarity, because the man will continue sending testosterone over and over and over. But at a certain point, having sent all that, he will feel quote unquote depleted, or he wouldn't have much testosterone left, and vice versa with the woman. And the woman who's being very feminine will send estrogen, and at the end she will be depleted of it. So what happens is they are both tired, and so they shift to their opposite polarity. And them shifting to the opposite polarity, what happens is the roles are reversed. If you were here in last time when we talked about masculine and feminine, and you can reverse roles and all that, this is one of the things from a biological point of why it happens. It happens, there's biology involved, and so it can go back and forth. Now, the reason why the partner starts losing themselves. So if the man, for example, who has been releasing the testosterone, becomes now more filled with estrogen, and so he becomes more feminine. And being more feminine, again, we both have masculine, feminine, both men and women. So it's just for the particular example. And the man becoming more feminine then becomes more needy, simply because the man was very masculine. He wasn't balanced before. And same with the woman. Because they were imbalanced, what happened is that they take the opposite energy. So the feminine woman at first was more needy, and now it's the man who's more needy. And so the person who's more needy or more feminine in the relationship, whether the man or the woman, tends to become more attached, tends to become more to lose themselves because they want more. And again, it's not both feminine and masculine are very powerful. Both have their strength. Being needy doesn't mean it's a bad thing. So it's just the way it is. Because feminine energy is more geared towards relationship, whereas masculine energy is more geared towards purpose or professional path and everything. So am I making sense so far?
Yes, so far. So.
Okay, good. So from this perspective, we start losing ourselves. So the person who's the most feminine start to lose themselves because they are not in their core energy. And so what they need to do is recalibrate their own core energy, rediscover their core energy, go back to their core energy. So for example, the man who became more feminine needs to go back to being more masculine.
Or just reconnect with it, right? It's right there all along.
Exactly. Reconnect with it. And same with the woman. Reconnecting with her feminine energy, but that's not all, because that's one part of the equation. By doing that, you would revert back to the first stage of the relationship, which is still, quote unquote, I'm sorry for the word, but immature, in the sense that both are not complete. And so the next step would be for actually both of them, once they're recalibrated and rediscovered their core energies, to actually work on rediscovering their underdeveloped ingredient or their underdeveloped energies, which is the opposite. For them to be both balanced and complete from within, masculine and feminine. And once both of them are balanced and they won't be needing they won't have this need or be losing themselves anymore with their partner would still be there for them, they would still be there for their partner, but it wouldn't be from a place of lack, it would be from a place of abundance. I know you're here and I'm here. If you need anything, I'm here. But it's not like I need you. It's more like, how can we grow together? What can we do to better help ourselves? And yeah, so I hope I've been able to answer the question.
I have a question. Do you think this can be related to like self-image? Like, I'm not certain I will be liked the way I am, so I leave my, let's say, my own activities or my habits behind just so that someone else can like me. But then in the long run, I'm like, wait a minute, I miss my activities, you know? That's
being a little bit needy. It's trying to show that
I don't feel comfortable with the way I am.
It's not about not feeling comfortable, but it's more like being afraid of, by choosing one activity, you might lose your partner. And it doesn't have to be one way or the other.
Fear.
It is
gotcha.
fear.
Okay.
Is the question clear? The answer clear?
Yeah, thank you, George. We have another question from a lot of my clients. I hear this, but I am ready. I am not afraid to be in a relationship. Why don't I have one? So please give your feedback for them.
Okay, sorry, can you repeat the question?
So the question is from a client. They say that they are ready. They are not afraid to be in a relationship. So why don't they have one? If you can give feedbacks.
All right. Okay, so there's one thing. What we think at the conscious level and what we think at the subconscious or unconscious level. So I'm going to talk in general because I don't have much detail. But in general, we always say that, yes, I'm ready for a relationship. And we always say like, I want to be with someone and all that. But in fact, are we really ready? Have we really done all the internal work that needs to be done? Do we believe that we are worthy of being in a relationship? Are there any limiting beliefs or beliefs that are stopping us? That are stopping us from reaching our next level or from attracting the right partner? Have we done all the exercises that needs to be done? Have we been feeling? So, for example, how are we feeling about having a partner? This is one exercise I usually give to my coaching clients, and I believe it's very powerful. It's one of the things that actually helped me attract this beautiful partner here. So it's really about, it's not just about visualizing in the morning, in the evening, and during the day. It's really about feeling your partner is with you without having the face. So one of the things I used to do is when I used to drive my car, for example, even though I wasn't in a relationship, I used to hold her hand. She wasn't there. I just hold her hand and I was talking to her as if she was there. As if she was there. Yeah, cuckoo. So well, at first you think, but that's crazy. And like people are looking at me from the outside of the car. Okay, this guy is talking to himself. He must be completely gaga and all that. But in the end, who cares what other people say? Of course, you know what I mean. I don't mean we don't care. We do care, but from this perspective. And so what happened at first, I used to think, okay, I did the first time. It sounds like it's stupid. Okay, I don't really feel it. So you know what? Let me go ahead and try again and again and again. Like Peter Sage was saying, the smile in the mirror. The first time you don't see it. The second time, the third time, but then you continue and you continue and you continue until one day, bam, it's there. And it's the same thing. So I used to hold her hand, talk to her, ask her for advice as if she was there. And one day, there she was. Of course, this is one exercise. There are much more. But the reason why I said this is because feeling is very powerful. Feeling all day long. Visualization is very, very powerful. But visualization, it's like he was saying yesterday, Peter Sage, is a very powerful example. You can do your 1 hour, quote unquote, visualization or 1 hour mental activity, but if you go throughout your day negating it, then you haven't done anything. But if you do this 1 hour meditation or visualization or however you do it, and you go on your day having this feeling, being this person, like being in a relationship, forget about the five senses. The five senses happen later. They are just a result. They are just a result of your thoughts. It starts with your thoughts lead to your feelings feeling leads to your behavior, and your behavior or actions lead to your result. The result, the physical, is the end goal. It's the end. It's not the beginning. So having a partner is not about like, oh, I see my partner. No. First, it's about thinking you have a partner. It's about believing you have a partner. It's about feeling you have a partner. It's about feeling you are with a partner. It's about going your day, living your life as if your partner is already here. You want to go, for example, to have, you can go to the movies with her, as crazy as it is. You can talk about the movie. Okay, so Hani, how did you find the movie? Was it, at first, it's going to sound like cuckoo. It's going to sound like it's crazy and it's stupid and it's like, it's not going to work. But you continue and you continue and you continue and you continue, and one day, she or he will be here. It's as simple as that.
Can I add 2 points?
Okay.
2 points is something that George had mentioned earlier today. One of them is that you have to make sure that you feel worthy of a partner, right? If you feel like you're not good enough, and then you call yourself names all day long, you know, I'm stupid, I'm not good at this, I'm a nobody. How do you expect to attract a partner? So you have to feel worthy of having this perfect partner that you seek. This is number one. And number two, you got to make sure that you're not coming from a place of lack. This is something we spoke about last week, that lack will always attract lack. So even if you do attract a partner, if your intention was coming from a place of lack, I need someone, how likely is the relationship to last and work, right?
So I have a point also to add, and maybe it can help as well. One thing I learned is that whenever we have a stuck energy somewhere, so for example, in this case, we're not able to attract the right partner, it's important to focus on an area where we're actually abundant, an area where we are actually, the momentum is going. And what we do is we take this momentum and we apply it to this area. And it will happen, it's part of the exercise actually we'll be giving you.
That's your exercise, yeah.
Yes, this is part of the exercise we'll be giving you. So whenever you have a stuck energy, forget about it for the moment. Just go with the feeling, go with the flow, visualize, do all that, but don't stay there. Don't stay there. Don't think about it.
Whatever you focus on, you manifest. So if we keep on focusing on the lack or on the energy that is stuck or what's not working for us, this is all that's going to be happening. So exercise time. We're just going to mention it briefly.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So we're gonna Clem and Kras will post an exercise that you guys can do today, hopefully, and we're just gonna quickly walk you through it. And we'd ask you to don't read the entire exercise. Just do number 1, finish it, then do number 2, finish it, then do number 3. So don't cheat. Okay?
This is very, very important, and it's for your own good.
Yeah.
If you do it correctly, you'll have beautiful results.
Yeah,
if you don't, you're cheating yourself. So
leave the curiosity out.
Not cheating. Exactly. So we're gonna put question number 1, enter. Question number 2, so that we scroll down. Okay. So briefly, do you want to briefly mention the exercise?
Okay.
Go ahead.
So the first question, and if you could write it, you were going to have 4 questions on each page. So if you could have like an A4 paper or A3 paper, and 4 questions on one side, 4 questions on the other side.
Yeah.
And we'll be discussing it even more on the next call. So the first question would be, where in your life are you happy or satisfied?
Maybe they can just read the questions later and give them the objective of this exercise now.
Okay.
The objective is, like you were saying, taking something that...
So the objective of this exercise is actually to make you think of an area in your life where things are working out. An area in your life where you are abundant, where there is flow and movement and momentum.
You're fulfilled, you're happy.
Exactly. And go ahead with that. Experiment on this feeling, see how you react, what's happening, the triggers, all those stuff. And answer the questions. Mm-hmm. On the other side, we would like you to actually think of an area where you're stuck, where you're feeling lack, where you're not having the results that you're looking for. And we'll discuss that later on.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for now.
Have you been thinking to come to live in Cyprus?
That's very interesting. It's a possibility.
We want to travel the world, so Cyprus is on the list.
Yes.
Yes. Amazing.
Mm-hmm. There's a Facebook user who said, "Say again, please." What's the say again?
The whole talk? I don't know.
Yes, okay, go have a break for 1 minute and come again for 40 minutes.
Oh, we can talk. No problem whatsoever.
So I just want to say for this Facebook user that it's okay. We're going to post anyway the full exercise, and you also will give us the instruction, right? In case.
And if they have some questions, you will answer to them.
Of course. Of course.
Because I know when I've been these kind of things, and when I comment in the Facebook chat, sometimes it's annoying because when you talk too fast. I mean, when you talk and until I create a question, it's going out of the content what you already say, and it's not like face to face. It's a bit
True.
The question. So can you say again the question? Which again we're going to post anyway after.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll go over any comments and any questions
as usual.
Okay, I suggest we just connect it to the gratitude, right?
Yes, my love.
So do you want to ask Pat and George, or do you want to?
Yes, my love. Ask them because I'm shy.
Okay. Do you like to share with us your gratitude?
With pleasure. You want to start?
No, go ahead.
All right.
You're the Aries.
Okay, as the Aries, I will start. So let's start by putting our hands in our hearts and closing our eyes, taking 3 deep breaths, counting till 5 for in, 5 holding, and 5 out. So I'm going to start. 2, 3, 'I'm so happy and grateful for this beautiful morning community. I'm so happy and grateful for Krasimir and Clementine for this beautiful idea of the global morning community. I'm so happy and grateful for my partner, Pat, who's always there by my side, who's a wonderful partner, and I really do love her. I'm so happy and grateful for my coaching clients. I'm so happy and grateful for my abundant life. I'm so happy and grateful for the future that holds, for a peaceful and loving future with all countries all over the world, all the time, everywhere. I'm so happy and grateful for, you can go on.
I'm so happy and grateful for my beating heart. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm alive. I'm so happy and grateful that we get to connect with like-minded people who share a similar goal of growth. I'm so happy and grateful to have my wonderful partner by my side through thick and thin.
Thank you.
I'm so happy and grateful for the morning community, which was born out of the worldwide pandemic. I'm so happy and grateful for the wonderful sunshine, for vitamin D, for food and water, for safety, that all my loved ones and hopefully all your loved ones are safe, happy, and sound. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
So we wish to everybody a beautiful day. And thank you for being with us. And we'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
8:30.
Thank you.